We see a lot of changes happening in Sri Lanka in line with the challenges that the entire world is facing surrounding COVID-19. What is your observation for Sri Lanka?
No matter who's going to get elected, things are not going to be easy, particularly because of the downturn in the global economy. But we see some pickup in certain areas. So we have to navigate this ship really carefully. As an economist, I see many complications going forward.
So when you say complications and a storm in terms of the country's economy, is this based on policies Sri Lanka has taken, or is this in the midst of the global challenges?
Not every country is going to feel the pain the same. Some countries would come back up faster than others. It all depends on how strong the country was before it entered this coronavirus situation. Unfortunately, we were not in a good position to start off with. We were running what we call twin deficits. One internally, where we cannot bridge our deficit locally. We spend a lot more than we earn, and external deficit which has to be resolved externally.
Former Finance Minister Mangala Samaravira's tenure. It was during this time that Sri Lanka experienced one of the lowest GDP growth rates, 2.2%. This is during the time that you were a prominent figure.
Of course, that is true. The growth hit 9.1% in 2012. In 2013, during Mr. Rajapaksa's government, the growth rate fell from 9.1 to 3.5.
Wasn't that due to the rebasing of GDP figures?
Absolutely not. Every 5 years or so, the GDP has to be rebased. It is nothing political. Every country rebases its GDP calculation. Some countries do it annually, some countries do it every 3 years, some countries do every 5 years. These are technical matters, but it fell to 3.5.
How do you explain that
let me finish.
fall? Yes,
let me finish.
If you can also add to the reasons surrounding the fall.
That is why I said it was a debt-fueled, construction-led growth. Right? So those have limits. The structure wasn't sustainable. It was a balloon that burst, because in economics there are equations that you need to look at. So you can't just wish the economy to grow. It doesn't happen like that. Unless you are able to create efficiencies, create competitiveness, create growth in a sustainable manner, it rose to 4.5 and 5. And it has been at those rates. But unfortunately, we had the 2018 October coup. With that, a budget was not presented till April of 2019. And then soon after that, there was the Easter bombs. That sort of shattered the economy. And with that, we registered a 2.5% growth. Of course, nothing to be happy about. Given all of that, 2017 and 18, Minister Mangala Samaravira was able to show surplus in the primary account of the budget.
About 2020, now the current situation, you keep saying that Sri Lanka is heading into a crisis. 2019, there was no food crisis, there was no oil crisis, there was no international crisis that marred any growth in Sri Lanka.
Yes, that's right, but it was an internal issue in 2019. Now we have an internal issue plus an external issue. From what I understand, growth in the first quarter of 2020 is minus. I challenged the government to show the growth figure for 2020 first quarter, and you can't use COVID-19 for that, because the country shut down 20th of March, and we are talking about the time period from 1st of January to 31st of March.